Jai Jagannath. Distinguished delegates, esteemed dignitaries, representatives of BRICS nations, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to each one of you to the inaugural session of the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group technical meeting being held in the historic and culturally resplendent city of Puri, Odisha. Today's meeting brings together DRR counterparts from BRICS countries to strengthen cooperation in disaster risk reduction and resilience building through shared knowledge, innovation, and collective action. I now invite Shri Neelkant S. Awadh, Secretary NDMA, to formally welcome our chief guest, Shri Mohan Charan Manjhi, Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, with a bouquet of flowers. Under Shri Manjhi's stewardship, Odisha continues to serve as a model for the nation and the world in the practice of disaster preparedness, response, and institutional courage. To formally set the tone for the second technical meeting of the Disaster Risk Reduction Group, it is my honor to invite Ms. Rita Misal, Member, National Disaster Management Authority, to deliver the welcome address.
Namaskar and good morning to everyone. Odisha ra Manyabara Mukhyamantri Srijukta Mohan Charan Manjhi ebong Manyabara Mantri Rajasya Biparjaya Parasana C. Suresh Pujari aji mo pai ek bada saubhagya o sammanar bishay apan manku e dutiya BRICS DRR working group ku apan manku samastanku welcome kariya pai. I also, at this point of time, warmly welcome all members of the BRICS countries here to this city of Odisha, to the second BRICS DRR working meeting here. Shri Member and HOD Shri Krishna Vatsa, Member Shri Dinesh Ashwal, all the delegates, ladies and gentlemen from the state of Odisha and other places. I, on behalf of NDMA, warmly welcome all of you to this special meeting to the historic and sacred city of Puri in the beautiful state of Odisha. It was at the behest of the Honorable Minister, Revenue and Disaster Management, that we have selected this city to be the place for the second DRR working group. And sir, we are very, very grateful for your support and deeply appreciated the support and the hosting of the government of Odisha for this working group. Puri is known for its rich cultural heritage, spiritual significance, and resilient coastal communities. It offers a meaningful setting for our deliberations on disaster risk reduction. This city reminds us that resilience is not merely a technical concept. It is deeply connected with people, tradition, governance, and sustainable development. The BRICS partnership has emerged as an influential partnership for coordination, cooperation among the emerging economies. Over the years, our nations have strengthened collaboration across multiple sectors, and disaster risk reduction has become one of the most critical areas requiring our collective action. In today's interconnected world, disasters do not recognize national boundaries. Climate change, extreme weather events, cyclones, floods, heat waves, earthquakes, and other hazards continue to challenge our societies, economies, and ecosystems while increasing in intensity and frequency. The recent years have deeply demonstrated that preparedness, early warning systems, resilient infrastructure, community participation, and knowledge sharing are essential for reducing disaster risks and protecting lives and livelihoods. No single nation can address these challenges alone. Our strength lies in cooperation, innovation, and solidarity. Our theme for the BRICS this year is building resilience and innovation for cooperation and sustainability. Therefore, this technical meeting of the DRR Working Group provides an important opportunity for us all. all big countries to exchange experiences, best practices, technological advancements, and innovative approaches in disaster risk reduction, resilience building, underscoring our chairship theme. It is through such dialogue and collaboration that we can collectively enhance our capacities and create resilient societies. I would like to also acknowledge all the efforts of the participating countries and institutions for the continued commitment in strengthening disaster risk reduction. The expertise gathered in this room represents a powerful force for the positive change. Your contributions during this meeting will not only enrich technical cooperation among our nations, but will also support global efforts aligned with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal and the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. As we begin our discussions today, let us focus not only on challenges, but also on opportunities. Opportunities to leverage knowledge for early warning systems, opportunities to integrate indigenous knowledge for modern science, opportunities to build resilient infrastructure, and opportunities to empower local communities as the first line of defense against disaster. I am confident that the deliberations over the coming sessions will fulfill the relevant points of BRICS DRR work plan for 2025 to 2027 and will result in stronger partnership and actionable outcomes that will benefit all our nations. I once again extend a sincere welcome to all delegates and guests, and I wish the BRIC technical meeting a great success and hope that your stay in this wonderful city of Puri and in the state of Odisha will be productive, pleasurable, and memorable for coming days. Welcome once more to India, welcome once more to Odisha and to the city of Puri. Thank you very much. Dhanyabad and Jai Hind.
We are grateful to Ms. Rita Missel for her warm and thoughtful words of welcome. Thank you, ma'am. We now invite Dr. Krishna S. Watts, Member and Head of Department at the National Disaster Management Authority of India and Chair of this technical meeting to address the member countries. Dr. Watts brings with him a distinguished body of experience and scholarship in disaster risk governance. We look forward to his address.
Very good morning to all of you. Honorable Chief Minister, the State of Odisha, Sri Mohan Charan Manjhi ji. Honorable Minister, Revenue and Disaster Management, Sri Suresh Pujari ji. Honorable members of the NDMA, Sri Dinesh Aswal and Madam Rita Missel. Distinguished delegates from all the countries representing the BRICS groups, Excellencies, colleagues, and friends. We extend you a very warm welcome in this great cultural, historical, and religious city of Puri. We are delighted to have you here for the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group technical meeting. At the outset, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha for graciously joining us at the inaugural of this BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group meeting and for the support extended to the Government of Odisha, extended by the Government of Odisha in organizing this event. Your presence here is a great honor for us, and we are deeply grateful for your support and inspiration in organizing this working group meeting. Odisha occupies a special place in disaster management. Over the years, the state has demonstrated how sustained investments in preparedness, early warning systems, community participation, evacuation planning, and resilient recovery can significantly reduce disaster losses. From the devastating super cyclone of 1999 to the highly effective management of subsequent cyclones, Odisha's journey is a powerful example of how institutions learn, adapt, and become stronger over time. There are important lessons here, not only for India, for the wider global community. Sir, we gratefully acknowledge the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority for its leadership and support. Friends, we meet at a time when the nature of disaster risk is changing rapidly. Climate change is increasing the frequency, intensity, and unpredictability of hazards. Risks are becoming more diverse and more interconnected. A heat wave may trigger power failures and water shortages. Intense rainfall may lead to urban flooding, infrastructure disruptions, and public health emergencies. Droughts can affect food security, livelihoods, and migration patterns. Increasingly, we are dealing with not only with individual hazards, but with cascading and compounding risks. Responding to the challenges requires significant investments, technological innovation, scientific capabilities, strong institutions, and close cooperation among governments, communities, academia, the private sector, and civil society. No single institution can manage these risks alone. The BRICS countries understand the challenges very well. Although our countries differ in geography, climate, and development pathways, each of us has undertaken significant efforts to strengthen disaster risk reduction systems. Brazil has strengthened flood monitoring and risk information systems. Russia has advanced meteorological and satellite observation capabilities. China has invested extensively in forecasting technologies, urban monitoring systems, and resilient infrastructure. South Africa has strengthened drought monitoring and climate services. India has expanded cyclone forecasting, heat action plans, flood forecasting, and large-scale warning dissemination systems. All the other countries joining the BRICS groups too have introduced many innovations and systems that contribute to reducing disaster risks, as we discussed them yesterday in various technical sessions. These achievements have produced tangible results. Across our countries, hazard-related mortality has declined. Preparedness has improved, and millions of lives and livelihoods have been protected. This progress deserves recognition. At the same time, it must be sustained and expanded. Our collective responsibility is not only to strengthen our national systems, but also to work together so that disaster risk management increasingly becomes a global public good, one that benefits all countries, particularly the most vulnerable. This is why the work of the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group is very important and critical. The 5 thematic areas identified by our working group offer enormous opportunities for cooperation. Whether we are discussing early warning systems, resilient infrastructure, disaster risk financing, nature-based solution, or science, technology, and innovation, we are dealing with areas that have potential to transform resilience outcomes for millions of people. Each of the 5 thematic areas that we have identified under the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group has significant potential to strengthen the resilience across our countries. Let me expand each of these 5 areas. The first area is inclusive multi-hazard early warning systems. The early warning systems have evolved far beyond hazard forecasting. Today, they combine observation networks, risk intelligence, impact forecasting, communication systems, and anticipatory action. The challenge before us is to ensure that warnings reach every person at risk and lead to timely action. BRICS countries have made remarkable progress in this area, and there is considerable scope for collaboration in data sharing, forecasting technologies, artificial intelligence, common alerting protocols, and last mile dissemination. The second area is climate resilient infrastructure and climate smart urban development. As urbanization accelerates across BRICS countries, infrastructure systems are increasingly exposed to floods, heat waves, storms, droughts, and other hazards. Resilience must therefore become a core principle of infrastructure planning and investment. We need to build infrastructure that is not only strong and reliable but also inclusive, environmentally sustainable, and capable of adapting to future climatic risks. There is great value in sharing standards, technologies, and financing approaches and implementation experiences across our countries. The third area is disaster risk financing. Reducing disaster risk requires sustained investments before disasters occur, not only resources for relief and recovery afterwards. Countries are experimenting with different financing approaches, including public financing, insurance, risk pools, contingency funds, and innovative market-based instruments. The BRICS platform provides an opportunity to exchange experiences and develop practical approaches that make resilience financing more predictable, accessible, and effective, particularly at the local level. The fourth area is nature-based solutions and indigenous solutions for disaster risk reduction. Many of our countries possess rich traditions of living with nature and managing risks through ecosystem stewardship and local knowledge systems. Wetlands, mangroves, forests, watersheds, and traditional land use practices often provide cost-effective and sustainable protection against hazards while generating multiple environmental and social benefits. We need to better document these experiences, assess their effectiveness, and scale up successful models through policy support and community participation. The fifth area is science, technology, and innovation for disaster risk reduction. Advances in satellite systems, remote sensing, artificial intelligence, digital platforms, modeling, and communications are transforming the way we understand and manage risks. At the same time, technology must remain affordable, accessible, and relevant to local needs. BRICS countries possess significant scientific and technological capacities, and closer cooperation can accelerate innovation, strengthen operational capabilities, and make advanced technologies available to a wide range of countries and communities. Taken together, these 5 areas provide a comprehensive framework for strengthening resilience. They are interconnected and mutually reinforcing. Progress in one area often depends upon progress in another. Our collective task is to deepen knowledge, strengthen implementation, and translate successful experiences into practical solutions that can benefit not only BRICS countries but also the wider global community. Distinguished colleagues, the real value of the BRICS platform lies in bringing these ideas together. Each of our countries has developed important experiences, innovations, and practices in response to its own challenges and circumstances. The opportunity before us is to learn from one another and adopt successful approaches to our own contexts that collectively advance the practice of disaster risk reduction. To achieve this, we must invest not only in projects and programs, but also in knowledge. We need stronger mechanisms for documenting good practices, evaluating what works, sharing lessons across countries, and building communities of practice. We need knowledge platforms that connect policymakers, practitioners, scientists, financial institutions, local governments, and communities. We need innovative ecosystems that encourage experimentation, support new ideas, and accelerate the adoption of successful solutions. Most importantly, we need to deepen implementation. The challenge before us is not a shortage of ideas, it is the challenge of bringing proven solutions to scale and ensuring that they reach the communities that they need them most. Whether we are discussing early warning systems, resilient infrastructure, financing mechanisms, nature-based solutions, or technological innovations, our collective objective must be to translate knowledge into action and action into measurable resilience. Over the next 2 days, I encourage all the participants to engage openly, share experiences candidly, and think ambitiously about the future of our cooperation. Let us identify practical opportunities for collaboration, strengthen our networks of expertise, and build enduring partnerships that continue well beyond this meeting. The risks we face are becoming more complex, interconnected, and global. Our response must therefore become more collaborative, more innovative, and more ambitious. Let's work together to build a stronger community of practice, a vibrant ecosystem of knowledge and innovation, and a shared vision of resilience that protects lives, safeguards development, and leaves no one behind. I look forward to the discussions ahead and to the continued partnership of all BRICS countries in advancing this agenda, this important agenda. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words have lent both purpose and direction to the discussions ahead. We now proceed to the keynote address. It is with great respect that I invite Shri Suresh Pujari, Honorable Minister for Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Odisha, to deliver the keynote address. Honorable Minister's presence here today is a testament to Odisha's enduring commitment to the principles of disaster resilience, a commitment demonstrated time and again through state's exemplary track record in preparedness, response, and recovery.
Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Sri Mohan Charan Manjhi, distinguished delegates from the BRICS nation, excellencies, representatives from international organizations, experts, and practitioners in disaster risk reduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the sacred land of Odisha for the BRICS Summit on Disaster Risk Reduction and Resilience. On behalf of the Government of Odisha and the people of our state, I extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished participants gathered here today in the historic city of Puri, a land known for its rich cultural heritage, spiritual traditions, and, of course, resilience in the face of adversity. This summit is not merely a gathering of nations, it is a collective commitment towards safeguarding humanity against the increasing frequency and intensity of disaster in an era shaped by climate change, rapid urbanization, and emerging vulnerabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, to understand Odisha's disaster management journey, one must remember where we stood before the super cyclone of 1999. Odisha was widely perceived as one of the most disaster-prone and economically vulnerable states in India. frequent cyclone, flood, drought, and coastal hazards repeatedly affected lives and livelihood of the state. Disaster management during pre-1990 period was largely reactive. Institutional preparedness was limited. Early warning dissemination mechanisms were weak. Evacuation system was inadequate, and community participation in disaster preparedness was minimal. Then came the devastation super cyclone of October 1999, one of the deadliest cyclone in India's history. Wind speed exceeding 250 kilometers per hour, massive storm surges, and torrential rain caused catastrophic destruction across the coastal Odisha. Thousands of precious lives were lost. Many villages also disappeared. Livelihood was shattered. The infrastructure collapsed. The disaster exposed the limitation of conventional relief-centric approaches and fundamentally changed the understanding of disaster governance. However, every crisis also presents an opportunity for transformation. The super cyclone became a turning point not only for Odisha but also for the entire disaster management framework of India. It compelled us to shift from a reactive, relief-based model to proactive, preparedness and resilience-based approach. Soon after, India witnessed another major tragedy, the 2001 Bhuj earthquake. The earthquake once again highlighted the urgent need for institutional reforms, scientific planning, resilient infrastructure, and community-centric disaster risk reduction. Then came the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004, which reshaped global thinking on coastal vulnerability, early warning system, and multi-hazard preparedness. This disaster collectively transformed India's disaster management landscape and accelerated major policy and institutional reforms. The enactment of disaster management framework under the Disaster Management Act 2005 marked a historic shift in India's governance architecture. States like Odisha began investing heavily in preparedness, risk reduction, early warning, decimations, resilient infrastructure, and capacity building. Odisha emerged as a pioneer in this transformation. Today, Odisha is globally recognized for its disaster preparedness and evacuation management system. From a state once synonymous with vulnerability, Odisha has transformed itself into a model of resilience and preparedness. We established the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority, OSDMA, as one of the first dedicated disaster management authority in the country. We invested in multi-purpose cyclone shelters, robust evacuation system, resilient roads and embankment, community-based disaster preparedness, and last mile earning dissemination mechanism. Most importantly, we recognize that the community are not victims alone, they are fast responder too. Odisha therefore invested heavily in community capacity building through volunteer training, mock drills, awareness program, and grassroots disaster preparedness initiatives. This people-centric approach became the foundation of Odisha's resilient disaster management system. Over the years, Odisha successfully managed major disaster, including cyclone Phylin, Hudhud, Titli, Phani, Yas, Dana, and Mantha through large-scale evacuation, coordinated response system, and community participation. I still remember when the government led by Sri Mohan Charan Manjhi took over. Just after taking over, we had to face a deadly cyclone called Dana. During that cyclone, lakhs of people were evacuated and taken to a safe shelter. And amongst those, I make a mention here that around 7,000 expected women who were in the advanced stages of their pregnancy were also shifted to safer destinations where they delivered safely, and most of the children who were born when the Dana was passing across the state of Odisha were named by their parents as Dana. At that time, I saw the total operation was led successfully by the Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Sri Mohan Charan Manjhi, who was finding time to come to the control room every now and then, talk to the officials, talk to the scientists, talk to the stakeholders, and was leading the total operation from the front. As a result of which, there was zero casualty in spite of the fact that around 10 lakhs people were evacuated. We successfully combated the cyclone with zero casualty. Our approach has been guided by the principle of zero casualty should not remain as aspiration but become an operational objective. Friends, today the nature of disaster is also changing rapidly. Climate change is intensifying cyclones, heat waves, floods, drought, and sea level rise. Urban flooding is becoming frequent. Public health emergencies and cascading risks are increasing interconnected. The vulnerable population, the women, children, elderly persons, and persons with disabilities and marginal communities face disproportionate impacts. Therefore, disaster risk reduction can no longer remain confined to emergency response alone. It must become central to development, planning, infrastructure design, urban governance, ecosystem conservation, public health, and economic policy. The BRICS nation collectively represent a significant proportion of the world's population, economy, and geographic diversity. We also share common challenges: coastal vulnerabilities, seismic risks, ravine flood, drought, fire, urban risks, and climate-induced disasters. This summit provides us with an opportunity to strengthen South-South cooperation in disaster risk reduction and climate resilience. We must collaborate in the area of multi-hazard early warning and risk intelligence system, resilient and climate smart infrastructure, nature-based and indigenous solutions, community-based disaster preparedness, and financing for resilience and recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, Odisha strongly believe that resilience is not built by government alone. It is built through partnership between the nation, institution, scientists, civil society, and local community and the youth. As we deliberate over the next 2 days, let us remember that the disaster risk reduction is ultimately about protecting human dignity, preserving development gains, and ensuring a safer future for generations to come. It is needless to mention here that after the super cyclone, Odisha has been facing successfully all type of natural disaster, notwithstanding the degree of intensity of the disaster. Odisha is coming out with flying color after every such disaster. For that, it is not only the government, but also the participation of the stakeholders, the help rendered at the grassroots by the civil society, the participation of the volunteers who are trained by the Department of Revenue and Disaster Management from time to time, all put together. And last but not the least, the direct and indirect cooperation of the 4.5 crore population in Odisha. They contribute in a big way to face all type of disaster successfully in the past, and with their support, we will be facing all such disaster successfully with zero casualty in future also. The ancient philosophy of India teaches us Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Even our teachings teaches us Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinam, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu, Ma Kasit Dukhava Bhave. That signifies the hidden agenda of all the Indians to think about the entire population of the world, the people across the world. And in this context of disaster and climate change, this principle has become even more relevant today, to think not only about the state, not only about the nation, but also about the people who are vulnerable in disaster across the globe. No nation can address these challenges in isolation. Our resilience must be collective, cooperative, and inclusive. I once again welcome all the delegates to Odisha and wish the BRICS Summit great success. I hope your stay in Odisha will also provide you all an opportunity to experience our culture, our heritage, our hospitality, and of course, the resilient spirit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, your words, for your valuable perspectives and for highlighting Odisha's experience and commitment towards disaster resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a defining segment of this inaugural session, national remarks by the representatives of BRICS countries. Each delegation will offer its perspective on disaster risk reduction, collectively enriching the foundation of our shared dialogue. I request each delegation to kindly keep their remarks within 5 minutes so that every nation may be heard with equal attention and regard. Owing to certain contingencies, some of the member countries' representatives are not present today, but are expected to join in the ministerial meeting in the month of July. We now start with Ethiopia.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Minister Mohan Charan Manjhi, distinguished delegates, colleagues, it's a distinct pleasure to be in the historic city of Puri. On behalf of the Government of Ethiopia and the Ethiopian Disaster Risk Management Commission, I extend my sincere appreciation to the Government of India for the generous and warm hospitality. I would also like to express my gratitude to the Indian team for convening this important meeting of the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group under its chairship. We commend India's strong and forward-looking leadership in advancing a human-centric and resilience-driven agenda. The emphasis on prevention, anticipatory action, and inclusive system is both timely and essential as the disaster grows more frequently, complex, and transboundary in nature. Ethiopia, as a committed member of BRICS, fully aligned with the shared vision of strengthening disaster risk governance in line with the Sundine framework of disaster reduction, the Paris Agreement, and the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development. As a country highly exposed to climate variabilities, including drought, flood, and land degradation, we recognize that disaster risk reduction is not only a necessity, but a cornerstone of sustainable development. We particularly welcome the 5 priority areas under this chairship. Colleagues, in addition, we underscore the importance of strengthening disaster risk management of rapid onset hazards such as earthquake, volcanic events, flood, landslide, and mass fatality incidents. These risks require enhanced preparedness, coordinated emergency response systems, and strengthen institutional capacity across all levels. We also highlight the growing importance of integrating foster fire risk management into our disaster risk reduction agenda, particularly in the context of climate change and environmental degradation, which are intensifying in frequency and severity of such events. Ethiopia's accumulated experience in policy development, institutional coordination, and the application of science and technology provides a strong foundation for a deeper cooperation within BRICS. We believe in this collective capacity that position our countries to actively collaborate, share knowledge, and advance practical solutions in addressing both emerging and complex disaster risk. Ethiopia stands ready to actively contribute to knowledge sharing, joint research, and capacity building initiatives within the BRICS framework. We believe in the strengthening cooperation among our countries will not only reduce disaster risk, but also promotes inclusive, sustainable, and resilient development for our people. We look forward to constructive deliberation and impactful outcomes from the coming meetings. Bahut dhanyabad. I thank you.
Thank you, Ethiopia. I now invite Indonesia.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chief Minister Ji, Excellencies, distinguished delegates of BRICS countries, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Government of Indonesia and the National Disaster Management Agency of Indonesia, BNPB, Indonesia appreciates India's leadership in convening this meeting and advancing disaster risk reduction as an important area of cooperation under BRICS. For Indonesia, disaster risk reduction is not only an abstract policy discussion. It is a practical necessity. As an archipelagic country located along the Pacific Ring of Fire and increasingly exposed to climate-related hazards, Indonesia faces a wide range of disasters, including earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, floods, droughts, extreme weather events, and forest and land fires. These experiences have led us to a simple conclusion. The question is no longer whether disasters will occur, but whether our development system are resilient enough to withstand them. Disaster risk reduction, therefore, cannot be treated solely as an emergency management issue. It must be integrated into development planning and public policy. This principle is reflected in Indonesia's disaster management plan, which provides a long-term framework for building sustainable resilience. Over the past 2 decades, Indonesia has strengthened its disaster management system through risk-informed planning, multi-hazard early warning systems, disaster risk financing mechanisms, community-based disaster risk reduction programs, and the increasing use of science and technology. Platforms such as INARISK support risk assessment and resilient planning, while systems such as SIPONGI supports forest and land fire monitoring and early warning. At the same time, Indonesia continues to invest in strengthening institutional capacity and community resilience. Our experience, again, also shows that technology alone is not enough. We face a total of 3,133 total climate-related disasters in 2025 alone. This is why effective disaster risk reduction requires strong institutions, sustainable financing, and communities that understand risk and prepared to act. This becomes even more important as climate change intensifies existing risk and creates new challenges. For Indonesia, DRR is an ultimate investment in sustainable resilience. Every effort to reduce risk before a disaster occurs helps protect lives, safeguard development plans, and reduce future economic losses. The BRICS DRR Working Group provides an opportunity for us to exchange practical experiences and lessons learned among countries facing increasingly complex risk. Indonesia looks forward to contributing to these discussions. We stand ready together with BRICS and learning also from experiences from fellow BRICS members. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Indonesia. I now invite Iran.
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, good morning, namaste. It's a great privilege for me to be here today. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to NDMA and MER team for the excellent arrangements made for this event and for your gracious hospitality. I sincerely hope that the outcomes of this meeting will prove beneficial to the development and prosperity of the BRICS member states. Dhanyavad, आपसे मिलकर खुशी होगी, बहुत खुशी होगी. Thank you.
Thank you, Iran. I now invite Russia.
Thank you. Namaste. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. During the side events yesterday, we have a very productive discussion on various aspects of disaster risk reduction and emergency response. Today, I realized that I don't want to talk about work. I just would like to say thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our Indian colleagues and friends who have been welcoming us since we arrived in Odisha and for your unprecedented hospitality. Thank you for the opportunity to see this unique landscape, this bright sun, and the blue ocean, and even for those wave of extremely heat that each of us felt from the very first step took here. And of course, we are grateful to all colleagues from the BRICS Plus countries who have come a long way to get to Puri and do a great job together. Thank you.
Thank you, Russia. I now invite South Africa.
Thank you very much, Chair, Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Secretary of the NDMA, BRICS countries, Head of Department, distinguished delegates, colleagues, partners, good morning. Honorable Minister, on behalf of South Africa, we want to appreciate the hospitality which we have received here in India. It is both an honor and privilege for South Africa to participate in this meeting of the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group under the leadership of India Presidency. Allow me to express our appreciation to India for prioritizing disaster risk reduction within BRICS agenda. There are systematic risks that threaten development gains, economic stability, and the well-being of our people. As we are aware, BRICS nations represent a significant portion of the global population, much of which is increasingly exposed to climate-induced hazards, urban vulnerabilities, and complex emergencies, from floods and drought to wildfires and extreme weather events. These realities demand not only national response, but strengthen multilateral cooperations. South Africa strongly believes that these working groups present a strategic platform to advance practical collaboration. In particular, we see the value in these areas. Firstly, strengthening early warning system. Secondly, enhancing risk-informed development and resilience building. Thirdly, promoting knowledge exchange, innovation, and capacity building. Chair, South Africa also underscores the importance of aligning our efforts with global frameworks, particularly the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, while ensuring that our BRICS cooperation responds to our unique context and priorities as developing economies. As we begin this important work, let us continue to be guided by the spirit of solidarity, partnership, and actions. In closing, Chair, South Africa reaffirms its full support for India presidency and looks forward to contributing constructively to the advancement of our shared disaster risk reductions agenda. I thank you.
Thank you, South Africa. I now invite UAE.
Mr. Chair, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Arab Emirates, I thank the Republic of India for organizing the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction meeting and express the appreciation for the depth and the quality of the discussion held across all sessions. The UAE recognized the value of the exchange that have taken place throughout these meetings, the concepts, framework, and practices presented by delegations speak to the collective understanding that effective disaster risk reduction require coordination across all levels and must be inclusive of all segments of society. We see in the outcomes of these meetings a strong foundation for continued collaboration and practical actions among BRICS nations. The UAE remains committed to working alongside partner nations to translate these discussions into scalable, inclusive, and locally driven strategy. The strengthened national disaster risk governance and community resilience system across our region and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, UAE. I now invite China.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chief Minister, dear colleagues. First of all, on behalf of Chinese government, I would like to express our sincere appreciation for the hospitality of Indian government to host this important meeting. The Chinese government has always attached great importance to disaster reduction, upholding a governing philosophy of putting people and life first. It regards strengthening natural disaster prevention and control and modernizing the emergency management system and capabilities as a fundamental project to fully ensure the safety of people's life and property and promote social harmony and stability. The BRICS cooperation mechanism serves as an important platform for promoting solidarity and cooperation of the global south, with disaster reduction cooperation being a key area of collaboration. China stands ready to work with all members of the BRICS family, supporting each other and joining hands to take pragmatic measures. And we are ready to share our own experience and reflections on early warning system, resilient urban development, science, technology, and innovations in the DRR in the following sessions. All in all, through high-quality cooperation, China aims to make more joint efforts with all countries to building a community with a shared future of mankind. Thank you.
Thank you, China. We extend our sincere appreciation to the representatives of all BRICS nations for their rich, substantive, and forward-looking contributions. The breadth of experience represented in this room today is itself a power reflection of the strength and depth of this partnership. Distinguished delegates, we have now arrived at the most momentous segment of this inaugural session. It is our privilege and honor to invite the chief guest, Shri Mohan Charan Manjhi, Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, to deliver the inaugural address. Shri Manjhi brings to this occasion the vision and leadership of a state that has fundamentally transformed its relationship with disaster from vulnerability to resilience.
Jai Jagannath. Good morning all. Honorable Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Odisha, Sri Suresh Pujari ji, Member and Head of Department National Disaster Management Authority, Sri Krishna S. Vaishya, Member from NDMA, Srimati Rita Misal, Additional Secretary, Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Secretary, NDMA, Sri Nilakantha S. Abhad, Senior officers from Government of India and Government of Odisha, distinguished delegates from all BRICS nations like Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, Russia, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, and China. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of Lord Jagannath and to the BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group meeting. It is an honor to host you in this sacred city of Puri. As you know, the theme of our meeting, Building for Resilience, Innovation, Cooperation and Sustainability, is not only timely, it captures the direction the world must take to protect lives, livelihoods, and the future of our communities. Thank you to the Chair for outlining BRICS priorities in disaster risk reduction, and to my colleague, the Honorable Minister for Revenue and Disaster Management, Sri Suresh Pujari ji, for highlighting Odisha's disaster management progress. I also appreciate the insights shared by our international representatives and technical experts who emphasized the urgent need for collective action. Today's discussion reminds us of an important truth. Disaster risk reduction is central to sustainable development, economic stability, and human security. It is a matter of serious concern that the climate change, rapid urbanization, and environmental stress are increasing both the frequency and intensity of disasters. Odisha faces heat waves, lightning, coastal erosion, and climate-driven urban risks. Under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, disaster risk reduction has become a national priority. The 10-point agenda for disaster risk reduction provides a strong framework focused on resilience, preparedness, technology and partnerships. Odisha is committed to translating this vision into action by strengthening systems, infrastructure and communities through prevention and readiness. I would like to say that resilience cannot be built in isolation. Strong coordination among states and across borders is essential because disasters do not respect administrative boundaries. Timely information sharing and coordinated response save lives and reduce losses. The private sector, scientific institutions, academia, communities, and civil society all have vital roles. Partnership in technology, infrastructure, risk financing, and early warning systems are now indispensable. We must connect climate science and planning and technology with governance and local action. Urban resilience needs special focus, climate sensitive planning, heat action measures, and sustainable land use should guide future growth. We must strengthen efforts to address heat waves, lightning and coastal erosion through science awareness and yearly action. Odisha's progress rests on preparedness, strong institutions and community participation. Yet future challenges will require greater effort and stronger cooperation. The BRICS platform offers an excellent opportunity to collaborate on yearly warning systems, resilient infrastructure, climate adaptation, and capacity building. I urge you to turn dialogue into concrete action and participation that deliver results. I express my deepest gratitude to BRICS and Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji for selecting Odisha to host this critical technical meeting. It is a powerful validation of our journey, our expertise, and our commitment to the global cause of disaster resilience. The newly approved 160-kilometer Greenfield Coastal Highway from Rameswar to Paradip via Konark with an estimated cost of rupees 8,301 crore will significantly bolster Odisha's disaster risk reduction. This major development builds upon earlier infrastructure sanctions, including the Capital Region Ring Road project spanning 111 kilometers with an estimated cost of 8,307 crore, and the Bhubaneswar-Cuttack Puri Paradip Economic Region project, which was approved by Niti Aayog with 5,000 crore in financial support from the center. By providing a robust modern alternative route along the vulnerable coastline, it will facilitate rapid mass evacuations during severe cyclones and ensure uninterrupted supply chains. Additionally, this all-weather infrastructure will accelerate our emergency response, relief distribution, and long-term coastal resilience. On behalf of the 4.5 crore people of Odisha, I extend my profound gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for the Union Cabinet's approval of this transformative Greenfield Coastal Highway. This visionary project stands as a testament to the Prime Minister's unwavering commitment to Odisha's growth. It is a powerful validation of our journey, our expertise, and our commitment to the global cause of disaster resilience. I express my immense confidence that the Puri deliberations will result in a historic milestone. The framework that emerges from this coastal city will illuminate the path for global safety and redefine international cooperation in disaster risk reduction. May the divine blessing of Mahaprabhu Jagannath guide our deliberations toward a resounding success and strengthen our shared resolve to create a safer and more resilient world for everyone. Thank you. Vande Mataram. Vande Uchwal Janani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Minister, for your address. Your encouragement will certainly strengthen the collective resolve of BRICS countries towards resilient and sustainable development. As we draw the inaugural session to a close, I now invite Mr. Neelkant S. Awadh, Secretary NDMA, to propose the vote of thanks.
Namaste. Good morning. Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Shri Mohan Charan Manjhi ji, Honorable Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Odisha, Shri Suresh Pujari ji, Member and HOD NDMA, Shri Krishna S. Vatsa, Senior Officers, Members of the NDMA, Senior Officers from the Government of Odisha, distinguished delegates from all BRICS nations, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to place on record our sincere gratitude to the Government of Odisha for hosting this important international meeting and for the hospitality extended to all delegates and participants from BRICS nation. I would also like to place on record our deep appreciation to the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, for their continued guidance, valuable support, and effective coordination in facilitating the successful conduct of BRICS Disaster Risk Reduction Group Workshop meeting. We are especially grateful to the Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Shri Mohan Charan Manjhi ji, for his leadership and unwavering commitment to strengthening disaster resilience in the state. Odisha stands today as a recognized example of preparedness, resilience, and community-based disaster management. The successful organization of this meeting reflects the state's commitment to advancing international cooperation in disaster risk reduction. I would also like to convey our sincere appreciation to Honorable Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management, Shri Suresh Pujari ji, for his guidance and support in organizing this meeting. His leadership has contributed significantly to strengthening disaster preparedness and resilience in the state. Our thanks are due to all distinguished delegates and representatives from BRICS countries for their active participation. The insights shared during this meeting will further strengthen our collective efforts towards building resilient communities and promoting sustainable development. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of the officials of the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority, the Revenue and Disaster Management Department, Government of Odisha, Shri Arvind Kumar Padhiji and Shri Rajesh Patilji for their leadership and the associated institutes for their meticulous planning and effective coordination. Special appreciation is extended to all technical experts, resource persons, moderators, and organizing teams for their dedicated efforts in ensuring the success of this meeting. We also acknowledge with appreciation the support extended by the local administration of Puri, security personnel, volunteers, interpreters, hospitality teams, media representatives, and all support staff. I would further like to acknowledge the contribution of all international organizations, partner institutions, and stakeholders associated with this initiative. As we conclude, let us carry forward the spirit of cooperation and shared responsibility that has guided our deliberations. We remain confident that the outcomes of this meeting will further strengthen collaboration amongst BRICS nations in advancing disaster risk reduction efforts. With these words, I once again thank you all present and their participation and support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. With this, we conclude the inaugural session of the BRICS DRRG technical meeting. May I now request all the dignitaries and delegates to kindly assemble for the group photograph.
So I would just guide you for the photograph. The head of the delegations from various countries to come to the front and Vivek will support you where to stand. UAE, Indonesia, South Africa and China to the left, please. Honorable Chief Minister sir, Minister sir, and then Member HOD. So Vivek will guide because there's a certain style of photograph. Sir, center में. नहीं sir, बाहर आ गया. Sir, if you may also come in front of the dais. And Russia, Ethiopia, Iran to the right of the Honorable Chief Minister. UAE, Indonesia, South Africa and China. I'll request all our members from NDMA and HOD sir also to join there, please. Thank you. Patil sir, यदि जगह हुई तब आप चले जाना. यदि जगह हुई तो सर और आप चले जाना. मृत्युंजय सर, प्लीज आप भी आगे आ जाएं. सर, प्लीज. I'll request the dignitaries to stand, but the knowledge partners to join in, and the member states can take their seat. Thank you. The knowledge partners, UNDRR, UNEP and others, but member state representatives can go back to their seat so that this is an exclusive photo. I'll request the states and the national agencies, and you can also join. Thank you.